discovery.
We begin
With narration.
as if your dreams have no effect upon the choices you make.
Cool. So my choices are going to be based on insights gleaned from being chased into my basement by the Wicked Witch of the West, who then transformed into a toddler version of my father, who then reprimanded me for harvesting the pineapples too soon. Great.
But there is another life which awaits you when you close your eyes.
Show starts by saying, hey, you know all those dreams that were so strange you never told anyone about them? Yeah, those really happened. This may work like a discount Matrix land, but there's still plenty to sin. Look at this bridge, for example. The design is visually staggering, but I don't want to be physically staggering as it's lifted skyward to allow the ship to pass underneath. Also, if this is a dream world, why was the bridge engineered in a way that doesn't allow for naval traffic? Better yet, why can't the magical dream ships just pass right through it?
Sleep brings you here to find freedom and adventure.
I'm sorry, but I can think of nothing I want to experience less in my dreams than a giant snoofle bear on my awesome ship. That looks like a recipe for trauma and a broken boat.
In dreams and nightmares that I create.
And the best you could come up with to demonstrate that is a fucking pumpkin janitor that looks suspiciously like he's voiced by Mark Hamill. Really?
You are coming back, aren't you?
Why would I not return, Lucien?
I don't know. A presentiment.
To save you some Googling, I'll just tell you that a presentiment is that funny feeling a character gets that causes a sudden urge to foreshadow something they really shouldn't have a clue is about to happen. I'm 25% certain I have that right. Here, yes, but with all these candles, I have to say, not so much in the darkness.
Dr. Hathaway, what an unexpected pleasure.
No, please, no. No more Game of Thrones. I beg you. We don't need to do it anymore. Okay, sorry, I'm back. Just a bad reaction to sudden not Tywin. Just carry on.
I take it you've reconsidered then?
My son, Edmund, his destroyer was sunk last week.
This is a phenomenal stroke of luck for Not Tywin here. We're about to learn that Dr. Hathaway possesses a book that Not Tywin needs to summon a demon to resurrect his son. So if Hathaway's son hadn't died, what was plan B? We learned that Not Tywin isn't exactly burdened with a functioning moral compass, so why would he ever leave that initial meeting with Hathaway without the book?
As you know, I lost my son Randall recently at Gallipoli.
A fact I know you know because I've already told you, but shall now tell you again for the benefit of the audience.
I understood that Randall was your only son.
Charles Dance hates one of his fictional sons cliché.
Tonight, we will achieve what no one before us has even attempted.
Easy there, Not Tywin. This might be the first time we're seeing it on screen, but you try telling Warner Brothers, James Mangold, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt that it's never been attempted. See what they tell you. I suspect that Corinthian inspects his knife, so we'll know he has a knife, and not because he suspects the knife needs inspecting.
And I give you a feather, pulled from an angel's wing.
Whether this is a literal angel feather or some sort of bird equivalent that Not Tywin just found laying around the house, the show should know we're not going to let the lack of origin just float by like, well, a feather. Writers don't explain how a summon the angel of death spell becomes a bring me whichever angel happens to be in the area spell, leading me to believe it's actually a we needed an inciting incident to set off the next 10 episodes spell.
I was powerless.
Against my desire to narrate my nakedness?
For the following morning, there were some sleepers
Unity.
who could not wake up.
So there's just no contingency plan here at all then. Dream goes missing and bam, the further collapses and millions of people don't wake up. If the consequences of him leaving are so dire, why does he ever leave? Was he really the only person capable of taking down Corinthian?
Do I know you?
We sure do, but I had no idea this took place in the Logan universe, so seeing Donald Pierce here is a huge surprise. Wait, that's not Pierce? But it is Boyd Holbrook. But the glasses. Why the f have they made him look so much like fucking Pierce then?
Not a god. More than a god.
Since most of what Corinthian does here is delivering exposition, it's odd that neither he nor Not Tywin felt like someone should expound upon that revelation.
The circle will not be enough. You must construct a sphere of glass inside the circle to contain Dream's physical manifestation.
Look, that goes against everything I've learned on the 9 Nightmare on Elm Street movies, but whatever.
There are forced march tablets, stimulants used to keep trench soldiers awake.
The war on drugs.
Day after day, he pleaded for gifts.
But again, he would not give me pants.
You're supposed to be working, not reading.
Yeah, but it was the Daily Mail, so I don't think that technically counts as reading.
And who are you to speak for the Magus? Who the f*** are you?
Good thing these assholes showed up, otherwise Ethel would have needed more screen time to develop into our new favorite character.
I could watch him until they get here if you wanted to go.
See you tomorrow. Cheers, Alex.
Not Tywin doesn't strike me as being the forgiving sort, so I'm amazed these numpties think it's okay to leave his prized f***ing possession in the hands of the offspring that he barely respects more than a decorative hat rack.
What shall we call the fire brigade?
We are the fire brigade.
Considering the one guy didn't know he was in the fire brigade, I'm gonna guess they weren't in the fire brigade a few minutes ago. So instead of a snarky comment, an explanation would be more helpful for us to understand why this job now falls to two people that look neither equipped nor trained to be the fire brigade. After creating diversions and doing all that impressive sneaking, the best thing she comes up with for the final obstacle is pecking the glass. 10 years! 10 years she's been working on that plan.
You could have shattered the glass.
I suspected that shooting a shotgun at a glass sphere and it not breaking was at least a little bullshit. And since Not Tywin agrees that this was a stupid move, I feel comfortable sinning the fact that no stray pellets appear to even glance off the glass. And a bird exploding is so gross we're not going to replay it. You'll just have to watch the show for yourself and then return to the comments and explain to me how Jessamy's plumage managed to catch every single pellet. Also, Jessamy was making absolutely no headway at breaking the glass, so the shotgun was not immediately necessary. I'm adding some extra sins for Alex's overkill and Jessamy's underkill. A handful of dust is worth 2 sand pouches in a bird? Okay, I'll leave.
She's taken it all. The helmet, the pouch, the ruby, the grimoire, and 200,000 in cash.
She's taken far more than that.
Oh, far more than that? You don't say. No, really. He isn't saying what he means. Also, Ethel escapes by calling a cab. That's it. She just packed a bag and waited outside. This is either the most incompetent house staff in English history, or Not Tywin is the most stupid and complacent, yet simultaneously genius and obsessive man on the planet. Come on, show, at least acknowledge one accomplice to make this believable.
Speak to me! Speak to me!
In the last 10 years, what exactly has stopped Not Tywin from performing the ritual again? Dream is clearly not capable or entirely unwilling to help, so why didn't he go back to the summoning board and try to actually trap death this time?
If Randall were alive today...
If Randall were alive, he would hate you as much as I do.
Kids.
He's not moving.
But let's keep stating the f***ing obvious instead of getting the man any medical attention. Yes, we know he's dead because we've seen a TV show before, but the character shouldn't be assuming the same.
My mum used to say that if I was good, if I went to sleep, man would come and sprinkle sand in my eyes.
And that's supposed to be an incentive?
Oh my God.
Ah yes, my first dates are often spent in the basement of a mansion where my recently deceased father has been hiding a naked dream angel in a glass sphere surrounded by a moat. Don't ask, who he mistakenly summoned after originally trying to trap the Angel of Death with the intent of forcing them to summon my dead brother. You know, if I can't get theater tickets.
Just promise that you won't harm me or Paul, and I will let you out.
Should I have believed him this time?
Whether Dream believes Paul or not, what's the downside here? Dream promises not to hurt them. Paul keeps his word. Dream returns to Narnia. No more suffering humans. Job done. If Paul doesn't keep his word, then Dream just keeps chilling out in the dark crystal ball exactly as he would if he just says nothing. All right, so maybe the Dreamperer has no clothes, doesn't need food, and maybe the smell in there isn't as bad as I think it is, but there has got to be a sinful amount of butt cheek prints on that glass, and I will not be convinced otherwise. Over 100 years, and this is the first time something like this has happened? Not the raven juices that were presumably cleaned up at some point, not the falling body of Not Tywin who hit the deck right next to it, but a damn wheelchair swivel. That's what leads to Dream's escape. You want all you want, my friend, but you chose to read The Sun. This would be less distracting if the show made the mildest attempt at explaining why all of McDreamy's movements seem more about keeping his penis off screen and less about, well, moving.
Do you understand the damage you've done to your world?
I'm sorry. I didn't know.
How did you not know? There are millions of people with severe sleeping disorders, and you have Sleepy Gary, the CEO of sleeping, imprisoned in the basement.
Your punishment then shall be a gift, the gift of eternal sleep.
Show says it's a gift and makes it feel like a punishment, but I'm still inclined to view it as a gift. The sin is insomnia.
More than a century of tortured sleep.
Great. Even more narration. I'm beginning to think all of his mystical items are just for decoration, since he's clearly capable of putting everyone to sleep with his excessive expositing. I can't tell if the blood dribbling down the face of Hungry Eyes means he's a messy eater, or that he bit his little eye lip. I'm either going to sin this for stealing from Jeepers Creepers, or I'm sinning the original comic for inspiring Jeepers Creepers in the first place. Someone is getting sinned for that shit. This piece of the palace roof waiting over 100 years for its big moment.
Who did this?
My lord, you are the dreaming. The dreaming is you.
Non sequiturs.
And the residents? The palace staff?
Okay, we started off well, but got very quickly to the issue of who's going to make the sandwiches. This season on at the end of your first episode is kind of an admission that you aren't sure people were convinced to continue watching. So the sin is not having faith in yourself. Also, spoilers!
I didn't understand a one word you said.
Father likes to be called Magus. It means sorcerer.
I don't care!
Tonight, we will achieve what no one before us has even attempted.
A double backward somersault through a hoop while whistling the Star-Spangled Banner.
Corinthian.
You call that a knife?
The power of Christ compels you. The power of Christ compels you.
Sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere.
Weeping blood comes merely from a derangement of the tear duct, my dear General. Nothing sinister.